Everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. As you can see, I'm behind the house today. I'm going to show you this part of the garden. It is the wayward stepchild, right? So this is the part of the garden of the homestead that probably wins the most neglected award for this summer, right? But nevertheless, I'm going to show you because this is real life. I haven't taken you back here in the back of the house for quite some time. As you guys know, as you can see behind me, we built onto the house. We're building a sunroom, and there was a lot of construction, a lot of stuff back here. It was just a mess, a hot mess, right? But nevertheless, I still been gardening back here, right? And I still had some active raised beds this summer, and you have seen some of that. But today, I'm gonna I need to prune and not trellis, but use some stakes to stand up some of the tomatoes that I transplanted back here. And I thought I would take you around and let you see what is going on. It's in the morning. It's supposed to rain today. Right now, oh man, that's a breeze. Love it. Right now it's 80 degrees in the morning, and the breeze feels really, really good. And it's supposed to rain. So I was like, man, this has been on my to-do list for like 2 weeks. Let me get out here and do it real quick. And I thought I'd show you what's been going on in the garden in the back of the house. So this is the first bed. If you're coming from the left, this is has been kind of the flower bed, so to speak. So it's been good to bring like a lot of pollinators into the garden. You can see here I have some zinnias. I had some black-eyed Susans in each corner, but they have died. But I have some zinnias, and then I have some celosia there. And you can also see I have some weeds growing that I need to de-weed. So there's still some open space in this bed. So the zinnias that I started seedlings for a couple of weeks ago are going to go out here, and we're just going to maintain this as the flower bed for the rest of the summer. I come out here and pick fresh flowers for the house, as well as it brings a lot of pollinators to this area. So that's kind of the plan. And if you remember, this is the bed where I had the strawberries that I planted the strawberries in, I think in February. The strawberry roots that didn't do well, that's this bed. And then I just replaced it with flowers. So this is bed number 2. As you can see, it's empty. This is the bed that I had the squash in. And I would say overall, we probably got maybe 2 great harvest of squash, and then the squash bugs came in and infiltrated. You can see the white spots are just diatomaceous earth that I have in here. So this is an empty bed. I don't plan on doing anything else for the summer in this bed. It'll just be used for like the fall, and I'm not quite sure what's going to go in it yet. But at least hubby came out here for me, and he ripped all the old stuff up, and so now I just need to amend this bed and get it ready to be planted again. I always say that squash is not everlasting, right? In my experience, I don't make it the whole season. Make it the whole season at the beginning of the season planting squash, and it lasts throughout the whole season. It has not happened for me. I usually get a good month of harvest, and then either the squash bugs come or it just starts to die back. It just doesn't last usually because of the squash bugs. So I kind of know that. And again, if I want more squash, but again, when it produces a whole lot, right? So I have bags of squash in my freezer. I've given tons of it away. So I'm definitely not complaining. Plus, remember, I planted another succession of squash in the outside garden that has done well, and now it's dying back. So I think I'm done with squash for this summer. I don't think I'll do another round again because I have plenty in the freezer, and you know, we don't eat it all the time like that. So whatever I get from the outside garden between now and when it dies out, I think will be plenty. So this bed, again, will just be for the fall, and we'll decide kind of what we're going to put in there. Okay, y'all, so this is the tomato bed that I got to work on today. So this is the bed that had the red onions, and no, it did not have red onions and leeks in it. What did it have in here? I don't even remember. Oh, it was the garlic. It was the garlic. That's what was in here. The garlic was in this bed. And of course you saw on video, I'll link it if you didn't see it. You saw where we put the garlic. We harvested and preserved the garlic and all that good stuff. So you've seen that process. And so remember, I started some tomato seedlings from cuttings, as well as I started some new tomato seeds. It's probably been 6 to 8 weeks ago now. And I put them in this bed here. I'm not sure if I showed you that, but you can see they are doing quite well. They just need to be pruned heavily and stood up. So right now it just looks like a jungle. You can't tell which plant is which, but these are all either seeds that I started about 6 to 8 weeks ago for a second succession of tomatoes, or they're tomato cuttings where I just cut the suckers and rooted them. So like I said, that's free like tomato plants. So this is the part I'm going to work on today. I'll show you the other two beds and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Okay, so this is the bed here. As you can see, it's empty now. This is the bed that had the red onions and the leeks. The red onions did extremely, extremely well. The leeks did well, except the gardener, that i.e. me, did not pull them in time. So they went to seed and bolted. So I did not get a chance to use any of the leeks. I pretty much have lost the leeks. Again, the most neglected award. But again, hubby pulled up all of the weeds in this bed. So this bed needs to be amended and it can be used for the fall. So yeah, you know, with every gardening season you learn, definitely. One, I probably planted too many leeks. I mean, I don't eat leeks like that. And my plan was to dehydrate them and be able to use them and throw them in soups, which I think would have been a great plan. And I'm assuming you probably could freeze them too. I need to look in my freeze fresh book to see if you can preserve leeks that way. But anyway, it's just one of those things that I just did not get to. So in the order of things, for those that are new, so I have these 5 raised beds behind my house, which is what I started with. But now I have the high tunnel as well as the outside garden. And so, you know, between the high tunnel and the outside garden, that's probably a good, I don't know, 5,000 feet of gardening space. I mean, that's a lot. And so in the order of the day of things, you know, when I have, you know, a couple of hours to attend to the garden every day, the one thing that I always try to do is obviously water the parts, you know, that's not already automatic, which is the high tunnel. It's not automatic. And I promise that is definitely on my list for next season is to get drip tape irrigation. Because it takes like 30 minutes to water the high tunnel. So usually watering is on the list, and then it's harvesting. And then planting if I need to, or transplanting, clipping, pruning. By the time that gets done, your 2 hours is gone. And it's like, man, after I come from the high tunnel on the outside garden to come back up to the house and come outside in the back, it's been a lot. It's been rough. So a lot of times that did not get done, right? And so I was trying to do my mornings when I would get up in the morning before the sun got too hot. I would come out here and water out here and do a few things. But again, I was spending probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes, and that probably just wasn't enough. I feel raindrops, so let me hurry up. Okay, guys, I ended up getting rained out. And I'm not going to complain because we need the rain. So it is actually a couple of days later. I'm going to finish showing you this last bed. And then I want to show you a surprise that happened in 2 days. So here's the last bed. This is the cucumber bed. You can see my little trellises leaning. So y'all, this bed has produced quite a bit, but as you can see, it's on its way out. We put up the trellis on both sides, which helped a ton. This brown trellis was just an old one that we had, and it has taken a beating. This probably is last year. We've used it for the last 3 years. But overall, y'all, this bed has done extremely well. We were averaging about 15 to 18 cucumbers per day, and it's still producing, but much lower. So we're probably getting, I don't know, 5 or 6 a day. But there are no complaints. I have jars of pickle relish, which you guys did with me. I have jars of pickles. I've given tons away. So, and then of course we use it for fresh eating. I use it for cucumber water. So there's no complaints on the cucumbers whatsoever. So this bed, this last one behind the house, all the way to the right, this is where I planted cucumbers 2 years ago when I first started my raised bed garden, and it did well then. Last year, of course, I rotated it and I put it somewhere else. It didn't do as well. And this year it came back to this bed, did great. So I don't know if it's the bed or the position of, where it's located, but it did great. And as you guys know, I did some succession planting in the high tunnel, and we have cucumbers in there as well. So if I wanted to start some cucumbers again, like rip all of this out in this bed and put new cucumbers in, I could. I don't think I am, because again, I don't necessarily need it, except it would be for fresh eating. And right now I'm still getting like 5 or 6 a day, and I'm also getting some out of the hot tunnel. So I think I'm gonna let that be it, and this will be a bed that we'll clear out in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks or so, and just use it for the fall. But let me show you the end product of the pruning and the staking up of the tomatoes. Okay guys, you can see how much different it looks now that I've staked them up, and I gotta actually go get some more stakes because I didn't have enough. But you can see how that is much neater than it was before. But I also want to show you, in 2 days, I actually have some tomatoes. So as I was coming to wrap up this video, look y'all, there's tomatoes. Those were not there 2 days ago when I started to stake these up. So we had a good rain for the last 2 days. And I guess the rainwater and the staking and all of the stuff got them to start producing. But I have tomatoes on just about every plant. Every plant. So these two even have tomatoes. I got to get some more stakes to hang up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more plants to hang up to stake in this bed. So there's a total of 8 tomato plants in this bed. So I'm excited. The ones that are stood up again look much better. You can see I've pruned, I've taken off all of that bottom foliage. I've clipped them up, and we got some pretty high stakes that should be able to make it for the life of the tomato plant. So I just got to go get 4 more, and then we should be good to go. So I'm excited to have another succession of tomato plants back here. Remember, I have a second succession going on in the hot tunnel. So if you didn't catch my video about succession planting, I'll link it up above. You definitely want to do succession planting, especially in your if you're in an area that you have a long growing season like me. I'm in zone 7A, so my growing season is like 100+ days, which is a great benefit to be able to do multiple successions. And so with tomatoes, I've made salsa already. I've made 3 quarts of tomato sauce, but that's not nearly enough. I want to make spaghetti sauce. I want to make pizza sauce. I want to make ketchup and barbecue sauce. So bring on the tomatoes, So I'm excited because as they're kind of slowing down in the outside garden, and in the first planting of the high tunnel, I have this one behind the house, and then I have the second succession in the high tunnel. So I'm excited about that. So y'all, thank you so much for going on this journey with me today. This is like the neglected part of the homestead that I just have not been able to dedicate a lot of time and attention. But even so, I've been getting food, right? I've been getting tons of cucumbers, even though I haven't done half of what I needed to do. My tomatoes, the second succession of tomatoes are doing well. My flowers, that bed stays with weeds for whatever the reason. As I'm looking over there, they look really, really wild. They need to be tamed some, and I need to add some more flowers in there. So it is definitely not perfect. It is definitely not ideal, but it is, okay? It is. So I just want to encourage you, if for some reason, I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call at the same time. I just want to encourage you, if for some reason you're down and you have a part of your homestead that you don't give as much TLC as you want to, just because of time or just because of situations, it's okay. your garden will forgive you. And there's always the next season. There's always the next week. There's always the next moment. Throw you some seeds in a pot, put it on your balcony, put it on your patio, put it in your house, right? Just grow something, right? Seeds want to grow. So help them. Remember, this is all a journey. And whatever we do, let's grow together. I'll see you next time.